from the same mother.
So are you older or younger?
Younger. The youngest.
You're better looking.
Yes, I know.
Right in front of
I know.
I'm joking.
He's gonna be the next chiropractor we hire.
Oh, woo!
Yeah, he's in chiropractic school right now. So you'll have a better looking doctor someday. if you can believe
Do I
it.
have a choice?
If you can believe it, yeah. So I'm gonna plug our big event. So don't forget. Every year we do a cancer lecture. Who's been to one of my cancer lectures before? You guys have been? Yeah, okay, so you have the only two. This year is going to be bigger. We have 4 guest speakers this year. Okay? And we are even, I'm this close to getting St. Charles on board. So say a little prayer for us. St. Charles, as long as everything goes smooth, they're going to be in on this with us. So it's going to be awesome. We have 10 to 12 vendors this year. And we're going to have tons of giveaways and prizes, so it's going to be one more step closer to the Tower Theater, which is where we're going to have this someday. All right? So here's the event. There's a small fee. It's $12, and all of the money that we earn, as long as the St. Charles thing goes well, is going to go to the educational aspect of beating cancer that St. Charles puts on. Okay? So that's where your money's going. Cool?
Nice.
We have 125 seats.
Where is it?
It's at the Shiloh Inn. So it's June 3rd. We got stuff all over the place. You're going to get emails. You're going to see it on Facebook. So bring people. It's going to be rockstar this year. Cool? Cool. And before we leave, everyone, if you haven't got your Get Healthy May calendar,
I do.
get one. And on the back, you fill out every day in your little paragraph about how this changed your life. And we're going to give away 3 one-hour massages to the people who play hard with us. And that's a pretty good deal. You get healthy, and you might win an hour massage. I'm all about that. Dr. Ashley slaved over this.
She did. Nice job.
She crushed it. Give her a hand. 30 health topics outlined for you. And if you've noticed that you've been watching Facebook, you get to see a 2 to 3 minute video of me every single day this month telling you about what we did. So, hey, this is awesome. So today's class is on food, and the topic always comes up eventually in care, because if we're really going to be a true wellness facility, we have to eat really good. We have to at least teach people the benefits of food, and why some food will help you live, and why some other food will help you what?
Die.
Die. You are going to teach this class for me, whether you like it or not. I have a patient right now who is battling stage 4 cancer, and this is a good intro for you. Battling stage 4 cancer, they basically told him he's going to die. Right? And when battling cancer, most people do what? Live or die.
Die?
Die.
That's what they told him. You will die. However, we know that doesn't have to be the case. It does not have to be the case. And there are a lot of things that we can do. Some of you are living proof of that in this room. It is not the case. But unfortunately, that's the reality sometimes in the system. And we now know if we work together, that does not have to be the end result. Okay? So this guy is battling cancer, and he's on chemo and radiation. And this is what the doctors told him. They said, you are not allowed to take any vitamins. You're not allowed to take any vitamins because it might negatively affect the result of the chemo and radiation. This is 100% fact. This just happened yesterday. And he's telling me this, and I'm thinking, well, we have to, because if we don't, you're going to have nothing left. And your food is your medicine. Are you guys with me on this?
Yeah.
So if we can change our mindset of how we don't need to poison the body, we need to love the body and support the body with what it needs to grow and live and repair and heal from something like cancer, we can do it. We have to change our mindset. Okay? So every single thing that we put into our mouths is either going to bring you closer to life or is going to bring you closer to
Death.
It's just true.
Diet.
Some food is alive and some food is dead. Would you agree? Anything that man touches and puts in a package and preserves is not alive. And it's just the truth. Okay, so let's not complicate it today, and just use that analogy as you go through your life. And we want to put more living food into our body than dead food, because dead food didn't even show up until about 100 years ago. All right, there's a really cool documentary on Netflix about how man started cooking their food, and the way that it happened was there was a bunch of crazy cavemen running around, running from a fire, and the fire burned through. They survived. They're walking back to their cave, and an animal got burned. And they took a bite out of it, and they're thinking, that was easier to chew, and gosh, that kind of tasted good because it broke down some of the proteins. And there we go. And now we're grilling. Everyone has a grill in their house. All right. So food is either alive or dead. And if we eat more food that's alive with enzymes and fuel for life, we're going to be healthier. And that's just all there is to it. All right. So a really famous doctor, not of our time, but from centuries ago, Hippocrates, you've heard of him, he says, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." This is such a famous quote that doctors' offices have it hanging up. If any of you do any type of nutritional wellness or counseling, they have it hanging up. This is the father of modern medicine. So he was so influential in modern medicine that every single medical doctor now, before they get their license, has to repeat something called the Hippocratic Oath. And the oath goes something like this. I'm not a medical doctor, so I didn't take the Hippocratic Oath. I took the Chiropractic Oath, which is different. But it says, first do no harm. First do no harm. And I challenge people all the time. I say, if you're in a situation where you feel like maybe there's some harm being done, or maybe there's a process of theory of getting you healthy that is maybe putting you in harm's way, or maybe you're confused, think about it differently, right? First, do no harm. So we always want to do no harm to the body. And that's why he made this amazing proclamation for health when he said, food is your medicine. And this is long before we had developed all of these fancy procedures. And this is long before we had medications that we know today. All right? So this is a staple for health. And I thought this was kind of interesting and cool, because let's talk about food. All right? Let's talk about food for a minute. Now, I'm human. We're all human here, and we all know it tastes good. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me something that tastes good.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Well, I might be an alien.
You might be an alien.
I might be a unicorn.
You might be a unicorn.
You're
That's true. Food tastes good. And the more food that you eat that was artificially enhanced to promote shelf life with different types of preservatives, they've tricked you into thinking that it tastes really, really extra good. And the reality is that it causes a lot of dysfunction in your body. All right? The general rule of thumb when going shopping is stick to the what lanes of the grocery store?
Outside.
The outside lanes, because those are the healthy lanes.
So you won't die.
So, generally speaking, the stuff in the middle lanes is all the stuff that's boxed and canned and preservatives and loaded with the stuff that's going to hurt you and break you down. If you spend the majority of your time on the outside of the grocery store, you're going to have mostly living food in your shopping cart, and living food gives us life. Fair enough? So I thought that this was really kind of cool because whatever your beliefs are on how we ended up here on this planet, we either evolved or we came from somewhere, or a combination of both. Okay? And I do believe that anything that was on this planet 1,000 years ago is probably stuff that we were designed to eat. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Because science tells us that the human genome has not changed for around 40,000 years. And if we look at what's happened in the past 100 to 150, we're now eating things that our human genome has not either evolved or been brought onto this planet through creation to consume. And that's just all there is to it. Make sense? I'm not telling you that cooking food is bad, because I do eat cooked food, but I'm telling you that a majority or a good combination of cooked food and raw food is the key to you being healthy. And the more raw food, the healthier and vibrant you will be. My brother's going to tell you a story here when we get to the end. Yes.
Last night my mom made tacos, but without the shell, she used lettuce and
Your mom's
she
amazing.
used hamburger meat and some steamed broccoli. It was really good.
Because your mom
And
is,
I put it in my soup.
she feeds you healthy food.
She did.
She feeds you healthy food. She absolutely does. Here's the standard American diet. This has been, yeah, you guys can read. It got the name SAD. So this is called a SAD diet. And you guys can see what the majority of Americans are eating. Over 50% of our diet, or the American diet, because not mine, but some people's diet, is processed foods.
Ew.
This became popular during, the Industrial Revolution, and when women were joining the workforce, and men, when we were working our tails off. Right? This food came into. Do you guys remember when the TV dinner came out?
Yes.
No.
Oh no.
Yes.
No.
Well, it transformed. It transformed.
Better than tacos.
Yeah.
Better than tacos.
So
Tastes good.
over half of the American diet is food that has preservatives in it and is packaged and processed. If something gets processed, it immediately starts to die. All right. There's something called the Gerson therapy, or the Gerson miracle. You can watch the video on this. It's a cancer treatment center down in Mexico, and you can go there and pay a significant amount of money to have treatment if you're going through cancer or chronic disease, and they feed you only living food, and there's a whole bunch of juice cleanses, and you're not allowed to eat something that's not alive. And guess what? They have astonishing results with getting people healthy. And you can do this in your home. You don't have to pay to go to Mexico to do it, but you can incorporate these things into your own lives. So half of the diet is processed food, 30% is animal products. Now, most of these animal products are not coming from animals that we're foraging for, that are eating grasses and seeds and twigs in the wild. Most of them are coming from conventional farming. We know that conventional farming produces toxic meats for us, and that's what the majority of the meats are at the grocery store. So unless you're buying from a farm that has grass-fed, organic, natural beef, you're probably eating something that is falling into this category of toxic meats. If you need a good farmer, come talk to me after class. We can get you some direct meat that came from a cow that was designed to live and be healthy, and you can eat it, and you'll get some amazing meat. Come talk to me, I'll help you. 11% of the standard American diet is vegetables, fruits, and beans, and 4% is whole grains. Okay? So all those different breads and pastas and carbs that we're eating are all falling into this category. And, whole grains, live grains, grains that are living is a tiny fraction. And if you were alive 150 years ago, you were eating sprouted and living grains. Yes?
And also, the reason why so many people eat processed foods is because they think it's good, and they think it's helping them, but it's not. It's making them worse. Like keyboard crackers with cheese in the middle, and top ramen, and
There you go.
roll-ups.
Keepers. You're going to teach this class for me. I'm going to program that in your head. You're going to teach this class. Yes.
Okay.
I think something that's really cool that people don't 100% know is that when you have something like grass-fed beef, you actually get omega-3s out of it. So it doesn't even have to be, everyone's like, oh, no animal products, nothing like that. It's something that a lot of people steer away from. But
Yeah, absolutely.
heart disease, stuff like that is what they're thinking. But omega-3 is anti-inflammatory, and I mean, that's huge heart health stuff.
We'll talk about omega-3s in our omega-3 fish oil class.
Oh, right.
Right. Well, yeah.
I'll never talk about it again.
Well, we will. And you'll get 30 minutes.
She's never here. How could she know?
I'm always here. I'm at every single class. Mostly.
Pension, Indy. So now, if I haven't taught you anything that you don't know, now I'm going to teach you something that you probably don't know. Okay, so this is the bang for your buck for this class. It's called combining foods. Has anyone ever heard of combining foods?
I learned about this today in class.
Holy smokes, you did? What grade are you in?
Sixth.
6th grade. They actually teach this stuff?
Yeah.
Hey,
The
Doc,
whole
Doc,
lesson
you got
today.
all
Yeah,
those
pretty
readers?
much, yeah.
I almost fainted when she said that.
You have all the readers here tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Come on,
You're like,
Doc.
I bet you'll never do it. I'm like,
Because we're still-
Go tell your teacher that Dr. Andrew taught you this in class, or in my class too. So what a great day you've had so far. Combining foods.
No,
Now,
American.
every time you eat a food, it goes into your stomach and it has to get broken down and digested. And there's two major categories of foods. There's alkaline-forming foods, or basic-forming foods, and there's acidic-forming foods. Almost all, well, I should say, all foods break down into acids or bases. Okay? The key is that you have to have a slightly alkaline diet so that your body can maintain alkalinity. Now, the alkaline, or the pH of blood is around 7.2 to 7.4, which on the scale of acid and base is what? You're in school. What is neutral
Neutral.
at pH? Do you know
Half and
this?
half.
Yeah, half and half. So it's 7. See, you're smart. You know. So 7 is neutral. So distilled water is 7.0. It's perfectly neutral. Everything else is either acidic or alkaline. And we must maintain an alkaline environment in our body or else we get really, really sick. If you get too alkaline, you get really, really sick. If you start to get acidic, you get really, really sick. Now, most chronic and lifestyle diseases, the body is what? Alkaline or acidic? What do you think? Acidic. If you're living and you're eating the SAD diet, your body is totally wiped out and it's acidic. And diseases, bacteria, viruses, funguses, cancer, these things flourish in an acidic environment. This is why the Gerson theory works. When you only eat vegetables, your body gets alkaline and it fights cancer naturally. Cool?
Whoa.
Now, when you eat food, it goes into your body and your body has to break it down. So if I eat an acid-forming food, and I'm going to tell you that meats are acid-forming, if I have acid in my stomach, what do you think my body has to do to neutralize it? If there's acids in my stomach,
Do you puke?
no.
Break it down.
Your body has to use an enzyme that breaks it down and creates an alkalinity to neutralize it so it can be digested. It's the basics of it, okay? If I eat an alkaline-forming food, I'm going to give you a really high one. One of the highest ones, a cucumber. What does your body have to produce to break down a cucumber?
More acid.
More acid. Cool. So we gather on this? Now here's the problem, is that most people eat alkaline-producing foods, basic-producing foods, and acid-forming foods in the same meal. So guess what happens? Your body has to produce acid enzymes and basic enzymes, and inside your stomach, your body goes to war because it can't balance it out. It's giving enzymes to break down acids, it's giving enzymes to break down basic foods, and you go to sleep and you wake up in the middle of the night and your stomach's doing what?
Growling.
Oh, is that what my
Has this
stomach
ever
does?
happened to anyone aside from me?
Yes.
Yes.
Every day.
So if you're combining foods, now let me
No,
tell you
not
what.
every day.
You know, we lived in the Midwest for a lot of years, and what's the what's the standard Midwest meal? Meat and potatoes.
Corn.
And how good is that? Yeah. And chicken and corn, or this and that, because they go good together. But the problem is that if you're eating things like sugars and grains, and then you're also adding vegetables on top of it, then your body's not going to be able to break it down appropriately. Okay? So let me go back a step. So the better way to add foods or combine foods is either eat acid-forming foods at the same time or alkaline-forming foods at the same time. I said if you eat vegetables, it screws it up. I misspoke. You can add vegetables to any of your meals. So rather than eating a steak with a potato is going to break down into, it's a starch. So rather than a starch and an acid, they're going to fight each other. You can have a steak and you can have your vegetables. But you don't want to eat a starchy, sugary forming food like steak and bread in the same meal. Okay? Get that? So you can eat chicken, but if you put rice on it, your body's going to go to war, and it's not going to go balance. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. It's so basic. Some different countries in Asia, like the Chinese, used to live like this to a T. Now they don't anymore. But they used to follow this model of eating to a T. There's ancient forms of Chinese eating. They always did this. Okay, we've gotten away from it because it's good to mix them, but it's not good for your body. Is that cool to learn?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the major things that I learned recently. Okay, combining foods. Here's something that one of my colleagues sent this to me. So in school, now we're talking about food, we got to talk about GMOs really quick. So in school, they're teaching children that GMOs are safe. Okay, this is brand new. It just came out of one of my chiropractic colleagues. His nephew brought this home and showed it to him. And it goes through this whole thing, and it says that by creating modified organisms or GMOs, scientists can increase positive traits and decrease negative ones. True. Okay, for example, science can genetically modify soybean crops to resist certain chemicals that farmers spray on the weeds without harming the soybean plant. True, but what happens when you eat it?
It harms you.
You get sick.
Yeah.
Okay? Just this morning we were looking at the Wilco ad. The Wilco ad came in the mail, and in the Wilco ad, on the very front cover, it's a weed killer for your lawn, for treating your grass, and it says 41% glyphosate, which is Roundup, which has been proven it's linked to all these different health concerns and health causes. And what do you do with your grass? You ever go out and lay in it and have your kids play in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Barefoot.
Okay, so you walk barefoot on the grass. On there, on the bag, 41% glyphosate, designed to kill people and insects and everything else. All right? So they're teaching this to our kids in school, that genetically modified foods are safe and effective to eat, and we now know that they're definitely not. So do your best to eat organic. All right? There's something called the Dirty Dozen. I didn't bring it in. I'll show you the Dirty Dozen sometime. So let's play a game really quick. I'm going to ask 5 questions. I want you to tell me if the food is alkaline or if it's acid forming. Okay? Let's start easy, and then we'll work out something harder. All right? Kale. Alkaline. Right? So that's why kale is so good for you. I already told you cucumbers are.
Yeah.
Eggs. Acid, because they came from an animal. So eggs are acid forming in the body.
We're just gonna start eating units.
Let me give you a hard one now.
Quiche, quiche.
Natural sea salt. Acid or alkaline? Alkaline. 'Cause it comes from Earth. Right? It comes from Earth. Let's see. Garlic. Alkaline. Alkaline. Okay? Couple more here, and then we'll move on. I want Brent to tell a story. Shellfish. Acid. Acid is the animal product. So is fish. Okay? And let's do another one. This one threw me for a loop. Mushrooms.
Acid.
Acid. Because it's a fungus. It's acid. I would have guessed that was alkaline.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Since we shop at Trader Joe's, does that mean we get organic stuff?
Trader Joe's is not all organic.
What?
They said that they're going to be organic by, I think, 2015
But I get the mac and cheese
or something. Some of their stuff's organic, but not all of it. So that's your alkaline and acid and base forming chart. You can put that on your refrigerator. Just make a point to be getting lots of alkaline foods. Put it on your refrigerator, otherwise you won't know. Okay? Last thing I want to share with you tonight is medicine is food. Food is medicine. Food is medicine, and food will do amazing things if you allow it to. Okay? So if medicine is food, we need to do a better job consuming certain things that give us life. And my brother, I'm going to ask him to come up here, my brother Brent, a lot of you heard his story about how he got burned really badly. He'll tell a story for a couple minutes, and I want you to hear about how he was able to get out of the hospital faster. This is my brother.
Hi, Tribe. Thank you, Dr. Angie, Dr. Ashley, for having me tonight. Like he said, many of you probably heard my story. Real quickly, though, I suffered second, third-degree burns from 20% of my body from 180-degree geothermal hot spring, mainly being on my arms, through my groins, and on my ankles. So, as you're probably wondering, what happened? Well, after this accident happened, I was admitted to Portland Legacy Burn Center, and my first question was, Doc, how long am I going to be here for? And he said, You'll be lucky to get out of here in 3.5 weeks. Usually for something like this, it's going to take 4 to 5. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So, I got admitted, and there's 5 things that I contribute to getting out of the hospital in 16 days. Number 1 is I was well adjusted. Dr. Andrew and Dr. Ashley made the trip up to Portland on 2 separate occasions to keep my expression at 100%, to keep my mind and body firing on all cylinders to allow my body to heal. Number 2 was meditation, and I'm not talking about sitting in my hospital bed and going, I'm talking about bringing awareness into my body, thanking my body, loving myself, breathing into my ankles, and you might think that's probably impossible to do, but it's not. What I would do is I would lay in bed, and I would take a breath into my ankles and bring all my awareness into my body, and I would thank it, and I would appreciate it, and I'd say, this is where I need to be. This is great. I'm healing. Everything is going smoothly. Number 3 is my support system. I had my mom fly in from Pennsylvania. She stayed with me for all 16 days. A girlfriend flew up from San Francisco. Dr. Angie and Dr. Ashley made the trip on, I believe, 2 separate occasions. My brother Phil, my brother Christian came up as much as they could. Huge. I saw other patients in the hospital who had nobody with them. They were alone. It's terrible. It's so big to have a strong support system. And even you guys, I'm sure some of you supported me through donations. For that I'm thankful. Number 3 was I was on a strict and heavy vitamin regimen. And Dr. Angie was saying sometimes doctors don't recommend that. And I was taking upwards of like 40 vitamins per day. I had an IV with antibiotics and painkillers, and I haven't taken medicine or a pill, and I can't even tell you how long. So my body was freaking out. And so for 2 weeks I was on heavy vitamins, and number 4 is food, the most important. I was telling Dr. Ashley earlier, I wish I would have saved a hospital menu. When you are a burn victim, your metabolism is so sped up that you need to be eating upwards of 10,000 calories a day and 80 grams of protein. And the first thing they said is, you're either going to eat or you're going to get a feeding tube. And I said, okay, I'll eat. So I'm looking through the menu, and I'm seeing fried chicken, cheeseburger, Gatorades. It's like, okay, these are alright. But what they don't tell you is the more Gatorade you drink, the more sugar you have, which dehydrates you even more. So Dr. Andrew and Dr. Ashley brought in a blender, and they brought in coconut water, and we made our own Gatorade. Coconut water, lime, and Himalayan salt, which Dr. Andrew just said is amazing, comes from the earth. And instead of drinking Gatorade all day, I was drinking coconut water with lime and salt. Also, Dr. Andrew mentioned a local farmer. She had brought up produce. She brought up her juicer. And I'm sure you can imagine how constipated I was from all the painkillers. And I started juicing wheatgrass, and my body completely rebounded from eating healthy foods and not dead foods. And you can imagine trying to get 10,000 calories through hospital foods, how hard that was. Cheese quesadillas, and my body did not agree with that. So tying it all together here, 16 days I was in the hospital for, which was amazing. And they're pretty much like, wow, you're great, you're young, you're healing up, that's great. But what they didn't know was all of the behind-the-scenes work that we did together. And that was amazing. And it just goes to show that the ultimate medicine really is food. I had food coming in from outside sources. I would pretty much eat breakfast at the hospital, and that was it. Egg sandwiches. And yeah, it just goes to show how knowing other resources other than being complacent with which was someone's telling you is how fast your body can rebound. It's been amazing. You know, for 2 weeks I was laying in bed and couldn't move, and then to see a rebound. It's May 2nd, I was admitted April 2nd. This accident happened on April Fool's Day. Pretty funny joke, but yeah. And I went for my first checkup last week to Portland. And one of the nurses looked at me and she saw me walk in. She said, "Are you even human?" Of course. You know, so it's really good. So, yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
So it was just so important that when this happened, Dr. Ashley and I, we didn't even ask, you didn't even think. We said, okay, we know that he's not going to get the good nutrition. We know that he's not going to get good food. And we know he's not going to get adjusted. And we know that he's going to have all these. He's going to be in an awkward, strange place. So we just need to pull all of our resources together, and we're going to get him out of there as fast as we can. And that's what the nurse said. Are you even human? Because we don't see this. How did you get out of here so fast? And I said, you should write a book. You should give it to him and tell him, hey, this is how we heal. So, power. Power. So, thank you, brother.